All right, hi, my Faith Formation families for grade 10 through 12. Yay! We are so excited to have you join us. It is really awesome to see people that have already made their confirmation, that really take the discipleship difference seriously, and are signing up for this program. So, your program looks different from everybody else's program because you're growing up, you've got a lot more to juggle. And you're in a different place since you've made your confirmation. So we are going to try our best this year to just give you different guidance in how to live out your faith and help you and walk you through that journey. And be aware of the issues going on in our community and surrounding us, and look for opportunities to make a difference and make the world a little better place, even in the midst of COVID, right? We can find all kinds of ways around that. So before I get into that, I just wanted to say thank you for signing up for that. And I think that's a fantastic step in the right direction. It's a new program. It's one that we're hoping to build up every year and get it a little stronger every year. But I just want to go over with you very quickly what the schedule looks like, what we're anticipating, and then what happens if you can't make it to something, etc., etc. Okay? All right. So if you look on the brochure, if you have it, great. If you don't, I'll talk you through it. You will notice that we have different dates and locations for different things. And that's because we try to move around to each of the parishes and try to connect, because we do have people from all 4 parishes that come. I don't remember off the top of my head if all 4 parishes are represented in 10 through 12 just yet, but I anticipate that eventually we will. So we just try to move it around a little bit, because even though we're all in the Brighton area, there's different needs for each pocket of community within Brighton, right? And on the edges of Brighton. I know technically St. Anne isn't necessarily in Brighton. That's why we call it the Brighton Regional. It's kind of this area but we know that we have people from all over that aren't even from the Brighton area that join us. So just kind of bopping around to see what our community looks like and what we can learn from each corner, okay? So you'll notice that there's presentations that are offered on certain nights, okay? Obviously, this video is going to replace the parent meeting, and so thank you for your patience with that. Hopefully, I will be recovered and ready to go soon. But what it does affect is our first service opportunity. So I did email those of you that were registered for grade 10 through 12 to see if anybody was interested in joining Mary Carriola for their Walking on Sunshine program that they're having at the Veterans Memorial Park in Penfield. If you're watching this video before the 19th, I know technically your parent meeting is until the 20th, so I'm not sure when you're watching this video. For the 19th, I did discuss with Danielle, who is the volunteer coordinator of that program for Mary Carriola. She is also aware that I'm going to be out for surgery. She is okay with the kids being dropped off as long as they check in with her. She will be at the volunteer booth. Okay, if you're comfortable with having your child volunteer with the Mary Carriola group, they will get a t-shirt, they will get the name tag. It's just like any of the places that they volunteer. But Danielle is the person that, and I emailed that to those of you that registered. You would connect with her in place of my supervision, but it's her program. What Walking on Sunshine is it's a way to it's kind of like a parade where they're cheering on the students from Mary Carriola. There's children's activities, and there's all kinds of fun face painting and arts and crafts and games and things like that they do for the kids. And so they're just looking for volunteers to help. I think she said mostly with games and arts and crafts. So if anybody was interested in doing that, just be aware that I'm not going to be there, but I didn't get any responses from anybody, or at least I don't think I did. I'm going to scroll through my emails and double check again after I've made this video. But anybody that I talked to, I was going to let know all of these details, but I didn't have anybody say that they were definitely going. So if you're one of those people that's definitely going, by all means, you are welcome to do so. Just know that I will not be there to supervise. But Danielle is cleared for her organization. She is the volunteer coordinator, and if you're safe and comfortable with that, they're at the Veterans Memorial Park in Penfield on the 19th. And I forget, I think I did put it in the email what time. I can't pull it up off the top of my head, but check your email if you're already registered for grade 10 through 12, okay? All right, moving past that opportunity, our first presentation will be on October 2nd, and it's how do we serve and why. I will be giving this presentation because I'm going to get us ready to understand what the presentations are going to be, what we're going to be learning, what that month's service opportunities are, how they connect with what we learn. We will look at biblical references. We will look at the catechism. Those are our two main textbooks. Okay. I will also pull different readings from various other authors approved, for Catholic grade 10 through 12, our curriculum guide from the diocese, but I have plenty of references. So I don't have you guys buying a textbook. We will always have the catechism and the Bible as our core reference. Okay, so we're going to tie in where these things fit in our faith and how we move forward. We're going to go on a little deeper level. We'll look at various encyclicals written by popes, not the whole thing, but sections of it, what was happening at certain times, why this is important, how we can make a difference now. So you'll see there's a lot of different things that'll it's really what this is about is really forming that discipleship mentality. Okay, we make our confirmation and there's a little bit of this, I graduated from we have this epidemic of people that have graduated from faith formation, but really it's just the beginning. But we really need to break that down and really work with you as you're, high school's a big deal. You're going to be making a lot of major life choices in the next few years. And it's really important to know how faith can play into that and how serving our community can fall into that too. So that's our objective for the entire year, is to go to the presentations and then also to attend service opportunities. If you have things that that conflict with those, and I've already heard from different parents that have said, well, they've got, homecoming, they've got this, they've got that. It will be impossible for me to put anything on at any given time that won't conflict with something that 13 schools are doing. But what I'm going to do, what I'm going to offer, is that I will record the sessions as much as I can. So that, or if I can't record the night of, I will make a video that I will send out to those who miss it so that you can watch it on your time and then know what the service opportunities are. That's my hope. Mike Vernarelli and I are both, he prefers to be called Mike. He doesn't like Mr. Vernarelli. So for grade 10 through 12, it'll be Mike and Jen. So we will both be talking to you, giving our perspective about service, about all these different topics that are listed here and how they pertain to our community and what are some things that we can do. We will bring in guest speakers as much as I can. I'm still working on a few of those. As you'll see, some of those are TBA because we're still working on those. But we will have some, form or fashion of presentation. There also may be additional ones. There's been some other opportunities that have popped up here and there, and we'll incorporate as many of them as we can. So the presentations are really just held wherever it says. So be watching the newsletter. The newsletter is always going to be everybody's pulse to this whole program. Every Friday, I will have what each grade level is doing. So if something new comes up for grade 10 through 12, and I say, well, guys, this wasn't on the brochure, but we have an opportunity to go listen to so-and-so speak, and they're going to be at Nazareth College, and they've said that we can come, or whatever the case may be. Those invitations will be in the newsletter. All right, so just to let you know what our plan is, and we will try to adhere to the brochure, but like I keep reminding people, the newsletter is always going to be more current than the brochure. Okay, so really watch the newsletter. The newsletter is every week I'm assessing what's going to really happen and what needs to change and where the world is at and where, our guidelines are at. We will, anytime we gather for presentations, we will always be wearing masks, using hand sanitizer. There will be open windows wherever we are. I will make sure that we have ventilation, that sanitizing, all of that will take place behind the scenes before and after. So I'm very conscious of it, even though we're traveling to different locations. And there's not a large group of us, so it'll be easier for us to be a little more versatile and fit in wherever we can. But I think there'll be some really good presentations, so we will do that. On nights that the weather's bad, we'll just alternate and go to Zoom. So just be aware things could change. If the weather looks iffy, I'll try to put the backup Zoom plan on the newsletter too. Say, like, if you're zooming in this week, this is where it's at. Same thing I will share with all of you as far as COVID concerns. If you have any symptoms, even if it's not COVID, even if it's flu, everybody coming back together after a long time, there's a lot out there. There's going to be flu, there's going to be RSV, there's going to be bronchitis, there's going to be stomach bugs. If you suspect your child is not feeling well, always revert to Zoom. Don't even question it, okay? We would much rather err on the side of caution than to have anybody have to, push the envelope and then find out later that everybody at the presentation was exposed to something, right? Although that's why we're all wearing masks, just to make sure we have reduced any amount of spread, if any was present, and then also keeping socially distanced. So we're doing the best that we and anybody can do under the circumstances, but when in doubt, just stay home and Zoom in, or watch the video afterward. Please don't push the envelope for that, because we don't want anybody to come if they're sick. So there's just a lot of different things that we'll be able to do, a lot of different topics we're going to cover. I am trying to work on having some sort of presentation. We've been talking with different indigenous tribes, representatives or teachers of those topics, just to get a little more understanding of some of the current events, things that have been happening, especially in relation to the Catholic Church and different, what are the historic information that we need to know around that, so that moving forward, how can we prevent those things? When we dive into these topics, it's really not about picking a side. It's not about any of that kind of stuff, and it's really trying not to even be political. We're just looking at it from a Christian point of view, and we say, okay, we see that this is what happened then. How can we make sure that we never have that happen again? Or what can we change in our attitudes that would be an ally to a group of people that is feeling marginalized or feeling that they've been unjustly treated? How do we respond to that? How do we have more empathy and more compassion for that? Those are the goals of these presentations. It's not to debate. We're not here to debate who's right, who's wrong, we're here to have compassion and understand better the facts as they're laid out and see things through another's eye. And that's part of our presentation, our whole point of this group as well, to learn how to think about things and not stay kind of in our own world about it. How do we get outside of our own community and see things through different eyes? And what does it mean as a Christian when we are following Christ? How do we see them with, anybody with the eyes of Christ? How do we look at each other that way, So this is what we're really looking at. And what does the Catechism say, and how does that pertain to this topic? And have we addressed that topic? And maybe we need to do better at doing that, because a lot of times things are covered in the Catechism and the Bible, and we don't even know enough about them to know that they've already been answered right there in plain sight. So sometimes we just need a little direction to grow and learn where to find the answers. So that's really what this whole thing is set up for. You know, it's just to learn as much as we can and then serve where we can and then somehow make that connection with the two and start to see service in a different light, start to see ourselves in a different light and our community in a different light. So that is my only goal for that group, and I think it's exciting, and I think it's a great exchange of ideas. It's a great way to encourage our young people to be the church of tomorrow. They're making the decisions for future church, so we want them to be as informed about how to find the answers and how to look at the world through Jesus's eyes, right, with compassion as much as we can. So hopefully that covers everything at presentation. So we don't really have an entry-exit strategy for each presentation because there's not a large group of you yet. I think we're looking at less than 10, so it shouldn't be an issue. If we do get larger than 10 and we get to where we need to discuss that, then I will be sure to let everybody know what door to come in and what protocols we need, but we'll just take that day by day. Okay. All right. So that's it for grade 10 through 12. And thank you for signing up for that. I think it's exciting. If you have any questions at all, please email me, let me know. If you do have conflicts with what the presentation is, be looking for the video follow-up. It'll be in the newsletter probably the following week. So you'll see it if I haven't already made it beforehand. And then the Zoom option will be there as well. So, okay. All right, my friends, thank you so much. And I will pray for you, pray for me too, and we'll see you soon. Take care.